Now, that was a pretty clever way to handle a remake. The Town That Dreaded Sundown. The Town That Dreaded Sundown is a remake of the 1976 film The Town That Dreaded Sundown, which is based on murders that happened in 1946. And this film takes place in Texarkana, and we start right off at a drive-in theater where there's a screening of the 1976 version for the film The Town That Dreaded Sundown. And that's where I thought it was really clever how this movie handled itself, because it's not essentially a remake in the more traditional sense, because what basically happens in here is that film exists in this movie, and these people screen this film once a year because it's part of the history of that town. So they kind of did what they pulled in Wes Craven's A New Nightmare, where in that film they established that all the Freddy movies were actual movies that were filmed within that film. And I thought that was a really interesting way to handle this, and I have never seen the original film before, but I was impressed and I thought that was a really cool idea, and I would imagine fans of the original film would be very pleased to know that they didn't just hit the reset button with this remake. So we follow a couple who decide to leave the screening and go park so they can fool around for a little bit, and that's when we're first introduced to the Phantom Killer. And I love the introduction that they gave the killer because it was so subtle and it wasn't just boom, bang, and jump and all that. So 2 thumbs up for a subtle entrance because I thought that was super badass. So the Phantom Killer brutally murders the boyfriend and spares the girl, who is Jamie, played by Addison Timlin, because he wants to use her to expose this to everybody so everybody can remember what has happened in the past. So that's what opens up to our story, where we follow Jamie as he tries to uncover the mystery of the Phantom Killer, who he is, and what he wants. And I really enjoyed this film. I thought this was a pretty damn good slasher film, and actually spiked my interest to where I want to actually go watch the original now, because something that was really neat about this film is the Phantom Killer is pretty much following in the footsteps of everything that happened in the movie. So there's flashback scenes to the original movie in here, and they pay a lot of homage to that. So I think that's another thing that will keep fans of the original happy. And I really like the character of the Phantom. I thought that he was an imposing figure. I like the voice that they gave him, and the kills in the film are pretty cool as well. It was nothing extremely inventive, but they were executed really well, and the sound effects for all the cutting and the slicing and all that I thought were on and just really contributed to the scene. I thought the acting in the film was pretty good too, and for a slasher film you could probably call it great. I thought the performances were believable and convincing enough for this kind of a film, and there's a lot of recognizable faces in this movie. A ton of people that you're going to be able to pinpoint and know them from all sorts of stuff, and even Anthony Anderson shows up, and he plays a Texas Ranger. He really does absolutely nothing in this movie, and every time that I saw him, because he was playing a Texas Ranger, all I could think about was him being a cop in Scream 4, and he just got stabbed right in the forehead. My only couple minor complaints are that the cops are completely useless, but I guess that's to be expected in these kinds of films, and they tried intermingling this weird kind of connection with Jamie and this other guy that felt forced and didn't really go anywhere, contribute to the story, and it was kind of weird because this chick's boyfriend just got brutally murdered a couple days beforehand, so that just felt really out of place. And then you gotta suspend disbelief just a little bit because the film takes some liberties where, you know, the killer just shows up where people happen to be all the time. But, you know, these are really minor things, and it's a slasher film, so I mean, come on. All in all, The Town That Dreaded Sundown was a creative and clever remake and definitely a solid slasher, so if you are a fan of slasher films, I would definitely recommend checking this one out. And if you have seen The Town That Dreaded Sundown, the remake or the original, let me know what you thought about them and which one was your favorite. I'm definitely planning on going to check the original one out because I like this one that much. So thank you guys very much for watching. If you're new to my channel, make sure that you subscribe, and I'll catch you all next time.